Next on my list is the permanent observer of the State of Palestine.
As the Assembly's resolution had foreseen, only a truce could allow sincere efforts to begin to address the humanitarian catastrophe being inflicted by Israel, the occupying power, in Gaza. Only a truce could lead to the release of people held in captivity and avoid further regional escalation. This truce must turn into a permanent ceasefire. The massacres of Palestinian children, women, and men cannot resume, should not resume. You should not allow it to resume. The human conscience cannot bear it. International law, including humanitarian and human rights law, prohibits it. International law, but also the norms of humanity, demand that we act to stop this war against innocent civilians and save human lives, that we act for humanitarian aid and access throughout the Gaza Strip, the return of those displaced without delay, the end of the siege and blockade, and that we act for accountability. Nothing can ever justify war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. Virtually every nation represented here has decided, some sooner other than later, to join the right side of history. No conflict in recent memory has seen so many children killed at this pace, civilians killed at this pace, journalists killed at this pace, UN staff killed at this pace, humanitarian and medical personnel killed at this pace. This is a full-fledged war against Palestine and its people. For the Israeli government, the priority is not security. It is the destruction of the Palestinian nation, of the very presence and existence of the Palestinian people on their land of Palestinian statehood. Justice in Palestine means we have upheld the principle that we are equals as human beings and as nations. Let us continue to work together to achieve that justice and to achieve the peace and security that the Palestinian and Israeli peoples, that our region and that the world needs. Help us to accomplish that.
And I now offer the floor to the distinguished representative of Turkey.
Today's meeting takes place at a critical juncture. The state of Palestine and the Palestinian people are facing the biggest tragedy in recent history. Since the outset of the conflict, Turkey has been calling for an immediate and unconditional ceasefire, urgent and unimpeded humanitarian access, and full compliance with international law. We hope that the agreement reached last week between Israel and Hamas can lead to a more life-saving aid to reach Gaza and safe return of the remaining hostages. However, it is clear that only a durable ceasefire can prevent further violence and suffering. We stand with the Palestinian people in reaching their long-delayed right to live in their own sovereign and independent state.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we take the floor to address yet another one-sided, disproportionate, detached, and biased briefing fueled by a distorted and destructive political agenda. The deep hypocrisies and systematic bias weaponized against Israel at the United Nations is based on a false narrative which not only entrenches and perpetuates conflict, but enables and encourages hatred and violence. The extent of Hamas's atrocities has not been addressed or recognized by the United Nations agencies, and especially not by the committee debated here today, let alone was it condemned. Instead of denouncing heinous acts of terror by Hamas, instead of denouncing slaughter of children, burning of entire families, mass rape of women, this Assembly continues to pass resolutions year after year, exclusively condemning Israel, while remaining silent in the face of the most heinous crimes committed by Hamas terrorists. As we stated in the past, Israel strongly objects to the continued operation of this committee. The committee and the debate's sole purpose is clear: to systematically promote anti-Israeli agenda. We will call to vote against your destructive resolutions. We will call to end your open-ended use of UN mandates and funds for political agendas. And we will call for an end to the United Nations' cynical campaign against the State of Israel. Israel will not be deterred, not by savage Hamas terrorists, not by their state and non-state supporters, and certainly not by one-sided briefings and resolutions assembled by ruinous UN committees.
India has always supported a negotiated two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine issue, leading to the establishment of a sovereign, independent and viable state of Palestine, living within secure and recognized borders, side by side in peace with Israel. India, on its part, Mr. President, will continue to support the Palestinian people through our bilateral development partnership, which covers a wide range of sectors including health, education, women's empowerment, entrepreneurship and information technology, and will also continue to send humanitarian assistance to the people of Palestine.